Do you know what is happening to you right now, in this very moment? Time is passing, not slowly, not waiting for you to be ready, but passing second by second, breath by breath, taking pieces of your life with it. And you cannot stop it. You cannot slow it down. You cannot bargain with it. You cannot get any of it back. Every breath you take is one breath closer to your last breath. Every heartbeat brings you nearer to the moment when your heart stops beating forever. Every second that ticks by is gone, vanished into the past, never to return. And most of you are sitting here, reading these words, completely unaware that your life is disappearing while you wait for it to begin. This is not meant to frighten you. This is meant to wake you up, because you are living as if you have infinite time, as if death is something distant, theoretical, something that happens to other people, old people, sick people, not you. You think you have decades stretching ahead of you, years and years to finally start living, to finally wake up, to finally become who you were meant to be. But you don't have decades. You might not even have years. You might not even have tomorrow. All you have ever had, all you will ever have is this passing slice of existence you call now, and it is already moving, already slipping, already dissolving into yesterday. Time is not your friend. Time is not on your side. Time is not waiting patiently for you to get your life together, to figure things out, to finally be ready. Time is the most ruthless force in existence. It moves in only one direction forward, always forward, toward your death. And it does not care about your plans, your dreams, your good intentions. It does not care if you are ready or not ready, prepared or unprepared, awake or asleep. Time simply moves relentlessly, without pause, without mercy. And when your time runs out, it is over, finished, done, gone forever. So what are you doing with your time? Be completely honest with yourself. What are you actually doing? You're scrolling through your phone for hours every day, looking at images of people you will never meet, reading opinions you will immediately forget, consuming content that means absolutely nothing to you or anyone else. You're watching television shows you don't even enjoy, just to kill time, to numb yourself, to avoid being alone with your own mind. You are having the same shallow conversations day after day, talking about weather, about other people's failures, about nothing that touches the soul. You are going through routines so mechanical you could perform them in your sleep. Wake, shower, coffee, work, lunch, work, home, dinner, television, sleep, tomorrow, the same, the day after, the same pattern repeated endlessly until one day you are old and you realize you lived the same day 1,000 times and called it a life. This is not living. This is dying slowly while pretending to be alive. When you kill time, you are killing yourself. You are murdering your own life. moment by moment, hour by hour, day by day. Every hour you waste scrolling mindlessly through social media, that is an hour of your life you will never get back. That hour is gone, vanished, erased, and you threw it away on nothing. How many hours have you already wasted? How many days? How many years? Have you ever calculated it? If you spend just 3 hours a day on social media, and most people spend far more than that, that is over 1,000 hours every year. In 10 years, that is more than 10,000 hours. That is more than an entire year of your life. Gone, wasted, thrown away, looking at pictures of strangers, reading comments from people who mean nothing to you, watching videos you will forget 5 minutes after you see them. If you watch television for 2 hours every evening, just 2 hours, that is another 730 hours every year. In 20 years, that is 14,600 hours. That is almost 2 full years of your life spent staring at a screen, watching fictional characters live fictional lives, while your one real life passes by, unwatched, unlived, unexperienced. And you say you don't have time. You say you are too busy. You say you cannot meditate, cannot transform, cannot wake up because you don't have enough time. But you have the same 24 hours everyone has. The same 24 hours Buddha had. The same 24 hours Jesus had. The same 24 hours every awakened being who has ever lived had. You have the time. You just waste it. You kill it. You throw it away on distractions that mean nothing and leave you exactly where you started, unconscious, asleep, dead inside while still breathing. And I want you to see something subtle here. Your distractions are not innocent. They are not just fun. They are not just relaxing. Most of your distractions are anesthesia. They are a way to avoid the one thing you are terrified to face, your own inner emptiness. If you sit silently for 10 minutes, without music, without messages, without noise, without anything, what happens? Restlessness, boredom, anxiety, a feeling as if you are missing something, a feeling as if you are falling into a dark well, and immediately you reach for a device, immediately you reach for a conversation, immediately you reach for food, for entertainment, for anything, not because you love it, but because you are afraid of yourself. You have been trained to fear aloneness. You have been trained to treat silence as a problem. And if you cannot sit with yourself, you cannot know yourself. And if you cannot know yourself, you will waste your life trying to become something in the eyes of others while remaining a stranger to your own heart. So the real issue is not time. The real issue is unconsciousness. You are not short of time. You are short of awareness. Look at your own day. Notice how many minutes are truly yours. Not minutes stolen by worry, stolen by anticipation, stolen by regret. Not minutes spent rehearsing conversations that haven't happened. Not minutes spent replaying old conversations you cannot change. I am talking about minutes when you are actually here, seeing, feeling, hearing, tasting existence. For most people, those minutes are very few. and then they wonder why life feels like it passes in a blink. Of course it passes quickly. You were not present for it. You were somewhere else, mentally, and time moves fastest for the absent. When you are absent, years vanish like smoke. When you are present, even a simple afternoon becomes wide, spacious, unforgettable. This is why childhood seems long. The child is present. The child is not thinking about tomorrow's mortgage. The child is not thinking about retirement. The child is not scrolling through images. The child looks at a leaf and it is a universe. The child hears a bird and it is a miracle. The child can stare at a cloud and be completely absorbed. Then you grow up and you call the child immature, and you call your numbness maturity. You call your deadness responsibility. You call your anxiety ambition. And then you say, where did life go? It did not go anywhere. You left it. I see people come to me in their 60s, their 70s, sometimes even in their 80s. They are old now. Their bodies are failing. Their energy is nearly depleted. Their minds have become rigid from decades of mechanical repetition. And they say to me, now I am ready. Now I want to meditate. Now I want to know myself. Now I want to transform. Now I want to wake up. And I ask them, where have you been for 70 years? What were you doing with all that time? Why did you wait until now? Now, when your body can barely sit still for 5 minutes, when your mind is so set in its patterns it cannot learn anything new, when you have almost no energy left, when you have almost no time left, why did you wait until now to begin the work that should have started when you were 20? And they have no good answer. They mumble something about being busy. They say they had responsibilities. They had to work. They had to raise their children. They had to take care of their parents. They had to do what society expected of them. They had to be responsible, practical, sensible. But they were not busy with life. They were busy avoiding life. They filled their time with things that seemed important but were not. They postponed the real work, the work of knowing themselves, of waking up, of becoming conscious. They postponed this essential work year after year, decade after decade, thinking they would do it later, when they had more time, when things calmed down, when the children were grown, when they retired, when the conditions were perfect. But the conditions were never perfect. The busyness never stopped. There was always something else that seemed more urgent, more important, more pressing. And now time has run out. Now they are at the end. Now they are looking back at 70 or 80 years and realizing, I wasted my entire life. I was given all this time, all these years, all these moments, and I threw them all away. I never lived. I just survived. I just went through the motions. I never woke up. I never discovered who I really am. I never experienced what life actually is. I spent my whole life preparing to live, and now I am about to die, and I never actually lived. Don't let this be you. Don't wait until you are old, until your body is failing, until your energy is gone, until time has almost run out. Don't wait until then to realize that you have been wasting your life. Don't wait until you are dying to finally start living. Wake up now, not tomorrow, not next week, not when you retire. Now, this moment, because this moment is all you have. This moment is all you have ever had. This moment is all you will ever have. Let me tell you about a woman I knew. She was a painter, but she never painted. She talked about painting constantly. She collected art books by the hundreds. She studied techniques from the great masters. She visited museums in every city she traveled to. She could speak eloquently about brushstrokes, color theory, composition, the use of light and shadow. She knew the history of art better than most professors, but her canvases remained blank. Why? Because she was waiting to feel inspired enough, waiting for the perfect subject, waiting until her technique was flawless, waiting until critics would approve, waiting until she could guarantee that her work would be recognized as brilliant. She wanted to create a masterpiece on her first attempt. She wanted to paint like Rembrandt without ever picking up a brush. Year after year she prepared, she studied, she waited, she collected more books, she attended more exhibitions, she talked more about painting, and she never painted, not one canvas, not one sketch, not even one brush stroke. At 65, arthritis crippled her hands. The joints became stiff and swollen. She could no longer hold a brush. The window had closed. The opportunity had passed. Time had run out. She came to me weeping. I wasted my gift, she said. I was given the desire to create, and I killed it with fear. I wanted perfection, and I got nothing. Not even one painting, not even one attempt, not even one failure. Just decades of preparation for a moment that never came. I studied art my whole life and never created a single piece of art. I know everything about painting, and I have never painted. I am an expert on something I have never done. This is what happens when you confuse preparation with participation. When you mistake thinking about life for living it. When you believe that someday, when you are ready enough, when you are good enough, when you are perfect enough, then you will begin. But that day never comes, because readiness is an illusion, perfection is a fantasy, and while you wait for them, life passes by. The perfectionist is not seeking excellence. The perfectionist is seeking safety. She wants guaranteed approval before she begins. She wants to be admired before she creates. She wants to be protected from criticism, from failure, from the possibility of being seen as inadequate. So she delays. She edits in her mind. She polishes nothing. She prepares endlessly for an action she will never take. And in the name of quality, she produces zero. In the name of standards, she achieves nothing. In the name of being ready, she wastes her entire life. Life is not perfected. Life is lived. Start imperfectly. Start honestly. Start now. Your first attempt will be clumsy. Good. Let it be clumsy. Your second attempt will be better. Your 100th attempt will be better still. But if you never make the first attempt, you will never make any attempt. And this applies to everything. Not just painting, everything. Your meditation will be imperfect. Your love will be imperfect. Your work will be imperfect. Your relationships will be imperfect. Your understanding will be imperfect. Everything will be imperfect. And this is not a problem. This is life. Life is imperfect. Only death is perfect. Only a corpse makes no mistakes. Only a stone is flawless. If you want to be alive, you must accept imperfection. You must accept that you will stumble, you will fall, you will fail, you will be criticized, you will be misunderstood, you will be rejected. And you must do it anyway. Because the alternative is to never live at all. Consider another angle now. You waste time not only through obvious distraction, but through invisible obsession. Thinking, thinking, thinking. Endless, repetitive, mostly useless thinking. Your mind replays the same issue for 10 years and it remains the same issue. You can replay the same resentment for 20 years and it stays fresh like a wound that never heals. You can carry the same fear for your entire life and it continues haunting you, never resolved, never released, just carried. Thinking does not free you. Thinking keeps you imprisoned. Awareness frees you. And awareness is not thinking about awareness. Awareness is not analyzing yourself. Awareness is not trying to figure yourself out. Awareness is simply seeing, being present, being here, watching without judgment, observing without commentary. Have you noticed? Most of your thinking is completely useless. It is mental masturbation. It gives you the feeling of activity without producing anything real. It exhausts you without solving anything. It keeps you busy inside your head while life passes by outside. A scientist can think productively because she uses thinking to solve specific problems. She has a question and she uses her mind to find an answer. Then she stops thinking and moves to action. Her thinking is a tool used when needed, then put away. But your thinking is different. Your thinking is not a tool. Your thinking is an addiction. Your thinking is a prison. You think compulsively, mechanically, endlessly, about nothing in particular, going in circles, arriving nowhere, solving nothing, just creating more noise, more confusion, more suffering. Watch your mind for 1 hour. Write down every thought that arises. You will be shocked. 90% is repetition. The same worries you worried about yesterday. The same fantasies you fantasized about last week. The same judgments you made 1,000 times before. The same loops. The same patterns. the same mental habits. Your mind is like a broken record playing the same song endlessly, and you call this my inner life. This is not inner life. This is inner noise. This is mental pollution. This is psychological garbage. Real inner life is spacious. Real inner life is silent. Real inner life is aware. It does not think compulsively. It thinks when thinking is needed, then stops. It uses mind as a tool, not as a master. It is present, not lost in thought. But you are enslaved by your own mind. The mind talks and you listen. The mind commands and you obey. The mind creates anxiety and you suffer. The mind creates desire and you chase. The mind creates anger and you attack. The mind creates fear and you run. You have become a slave to mechanical mental processes that serve no purpose except to keep you unconscious. Freedom begins the moment you see this slavery clearly, not when you fight it, not when you try to control it, but when you see it, when you witness it, when you observe it happening without being hypnotized by it. And this seeing is not difficult. This seeing requires no special training. This seeing requires only one thing: that you stop, that you become still, that you watch. Sit quietly. Do nothing. Just sit and watch your mind. Watch the thoughts coming and going like clouds in the sky. You are not the clouds. You are the sky. The clouds come and go. The sky remains. This simple watching changes everything, because when you watch the mind, you are no longer identified with the mind. You are separate. You are the watcher, and the watcher is free. The watcher is not anxious because the watcher simply watches anxiety arise and pass. The watcher is not angry because the watcher simply watches anger arise and pass. The watcher is not afraid because the watcher simply watches fear arise and pass. The watcher is always free, always peaceful, always here. And this watcher is your true nature, not the mind, not the thoughts, not the emotions, the watcher. And finding this watcher is the whole of spiritual work. Everything else is just decoration. Everything else is just preparation. Everything else is just philosophy. But finding the watcher is transformation. Finding the watcher is awakening. Finding the watcher is freedom. Here is another way you waste time through pretending. And I am not just talking about spiritual pretending. I am talking about pretending everywhere, in every aspect of your life. You pretend in your job. You pretend enthusiasm for tasks that bore you. You pretend respect for people you don't respect. You pretend the meeting matters when you know it is theater. You pretend to care about quarterly reports and profit margins and corporate values when deep down you know it is all a game, all a performance, all meaningless. You pretend in your relationships. You pretend you're okay when you are dying inside. You pretend you agree when you disagree. You pretend you're happy when you are miserable. You pretend love when what you actually feel is habit or obligation or fear of being alone, or economic dependence, or social pressure. You pretend with your family. You play the expected role, the dutiful son, the perfect daughter, the devoted spouse, the selfless parent. You say what they want to hear. You behave as they expect. You suppress what is real and perform what is acceptable. You look good on the outside while something essential withers and dies on the inside. And why? Because every time you betray your truth, you spend enormous life force maintaining an image. An image is expensive. Image costs you your energy. Image costs you your vitality. Image costs you your soul. A man can live without money. A man can live without fame. A man can live without success. But a man cannot live without truth. Without truth, he becomes a ghost, physically present but spiritually absent. He walks and talks and functions, but he is not really alive. He is already dead. He is a corpse pretending to be a living human being. And there is a difference between social courtesy and self-betrayal. Social courtesy is simple. Social courtesy is kindness. Social courtesy does not corrupt you. You can be polite, you can be respectful, you can be considerate without betraying yourself. But self-betrayal is different. Self-betrayal is poison. Self-betrayal splits you into pieces. It creates a civil war inside you. Your face says one thing. Your heart says another. Your body says another. Your mind says another. You become fragmented, divided, at war with yourself. And a divided man cannot be happy. A divided man cannot be peaceful. A divided man cannot be whole. He wastes enormous energy trying to hold these fragments together. He wastes enormous energy managing impressions. He wastes enormous energy controlling how others perceive him. He wastes enormous energy polishing his mask, maintaining his performance, keeping up his image. And the tragedy is that nobody even sees you anyway. They see their own projection. They see what they want to see. They see their own expectations reflected back at them. They are as asleep as you are. They are as unconscious as you are. They are as lost in their own minds as you are lost in yours. So you sacrifice your reality for a dream. You sacrifice your truth for an illusion. You sacrifice your soul for approval that doesn't even really exist. And time keeps passing while you perform this empty charade. How much time do you think you have left? Seriously, stop and think about it honestly. How many years? 30 years? 40? 50? You don't know. Nobody knows. You might live to be 90. You might die tonight in your sleep. You might die tomorrow in a car accident. You might die next week from a sudden heart attack or a stroke or an aneurysm. You might have decades left. You might have days left. You might have hours left. You might have minutes left. You simply don't know. And you will never know. Death does not send advance warning. Death does not make appointments. Death does not check your calendar to see when you are available. Death comes when it comes, suddenly, without warning, without asking permission, without giving you time to prepare or to finish your unfinished business or to say goodbye to the people you love. So why are you living as if you are immortal? Why are you acting as if you have infinite time? Why are you postponing, waiting, preparing, as if you have all the time in the world? You are waiting for the right time. You are waiting for the right circumstances. You are waiting for the perfect conditions. You are waiting until you have more money, more security, more certainty. You are waiting until the children are grown. You are waiting until you retire. You are waiting until things calm down at work. You are waiting until you lose weight. You are waiting until you find the right partner. You are waiting until you feel ready. You are waiting until you feel confident. You are waiting until you feel worthy. You are waiting for everything to be perfect before you finally start living. But everything will never be perfect. The right time will never come. The perfect circumstances do not exist. Life is always messy, uncertain, unpredictable, imperfect. And if you wait for it to be perfect before you start living, you will wait forever. You will wait until you die, and you will die having never lived. The right time is now. The only time is now. The perfect moment is this moment. Not because this moment is perfect, but because this moment is the only moment that exists. This moment is all you have. This moment is all you have ever had. This moment is all you will ever have. And this moment is passing. Right now, as you read these words, another moment of your life is disappearing, never to return, gone forever. So stop waiting, stop postponing, stop preparing, stop trying to get everything perfect. It will never be perfect. You will never be ready. The conditions will never be ideal. Start now. Start imperfectly. Start messily. Start afraid. Start uncertain. But start. Most people live their entire lives in a state of preparation. They spend childhood preparing for adulthood. They spend their 20s preparing for their 30s. They spend their working years preparing for retirement. They spend their retirement preparing for death. Always preparing, always getting ready, always postponing the actual living for some imaginary future when they will finally be safe enough, successful enough, respected enough, wealthy enough, thin enough, smart enough, spiritual enough, good enough. But that future never arrives. There is always another step to take, always another degree to earn, always another milestone to reach, always another goal to achieve, always another thing to acquire, always another person to impress, always another approval to seek. The ladder never ends. You climb and climb and climb, and there is always another rung above you. The goal keeps receding. The finish line keeps moving. You chase your whole life and you never catch anything. This chasing wastes entire lifetimes, and it wastes them in a strange way. You are always almost happy, always nearly satisfied. always on the verge of fulfillment. Just one more thing and then you will relax. Just one more achievement and then you will enjoy. Just one more purchase and then you will be content. Just one more person's approval and then you will feel worthy. But that one more thing never comes. Or when it comes, it brings no satisfaction. You reach the goal and you feel empty. You get the thing you wanted and it means nothing. You win the approval you sought and it changes nothing. Because the problem was never external. The problem was never about what you had or didn't have. The problem was internal. The problem was your inability to be present. Your inability to enjoy what is. Your inability to be here, now, alive, regardless of circumstances. If you cannot enjoy this cup of tea, you will not enjoy champagne in a palace. If you cannot enjoy a sunset in poverty, you will not enjoy a sunset in luxury. If you cannot enjoy a walk in cheap shoes, you will not enjoy a walk in expensive shoes. If you cannot enjoy silence in a small room, you will not enjoy silence in a mansion. Because enjoyment is not in objects. Enjoyment is not in circumstances. Enjoyment is in your capacity to be present. And presence is available now, not later, not when things improve, not when you achieve your goals. Now, look at your education. Look at how society trains you from the very beginning. In childhood, you are told, study hard now so you can have a good life later. So you sacrifice your playfulness. You sacrifice your curiosity. You sacrifice your wonder. You sacrifice your innocence. You sit in classrooms hour after hour, day after day, year after year, memorizing information you will never use, learning how to obey, learning how to conform, learning how to become a well-functioning machine. Then in adulthood you are told, work hard now so you can be successful later. So you sacrifice your freedom, you sacrifice your creativity, you sacrifice your time, you sacrifice your health, you sacrifice your relationships, you trade your days for money, you sell your hours to someone else's dream. You give your life to a corporation that doesn't care about you and will replace you the moment you become inconvenient. Then in middle age, you are told, save and plan now so you can retire comfortably later. So you sacrifice your spontaneity. You sacrifice your adventurous spirit. You sacrifice your dreams of travel, of exploration, of doing something meaningful, of creating something beautiful. You become responsible. You become practical. You become safe. You become boring. You become dead. And then you retire. Finally, after decades of sacrifice, after decades of waiting, after decades of postponing, you retire and you discover something tragic, something devastating, something that breaks your heart. You don't know how to live. You know how to work. You know how to follow orders. You know how to meet deadlines. You know how to please your boss. You know how to climb the corporate ladder. You know how to play office politics. You know how to fill out forms and attend meetings and write reports. but you don't know how to live. You don't know how to enjoy. You don't know how to be present. You don't know how to be still. You don't know how to be yourself. You have spent your entire life performing roles, meeting expectations, following rules. And now, when you finally have time and freedom, you don't know what to do with it. This is why so many people after retirement become depressed. Not because they are tired, not because they are old, but because they are empty. They have no inner richness. They have no inner garden. They have no inner music. Their whole life was outside. Work gave them identity. Work gave them purpose. Work gave them structure. Work gave them meaning. And when work stops, they collapse. Because there is nothing inside to hold them up. So do not build your life only on the outside. Do not define yourself only through your roles, your achievements, your possessions, your relationships. Build something inside. Create an inner richness. Develop an inner world that is yours, that nobody can take away, that does not depend on circumstances, that will sustain you regardless of what happens externally. And how do you build this inner richness? Through awareness, through presence, through meditation, through sitting silently and watching your mind, through becoming acquainted with yourself, through making friends with your own being, through discovering that you are not your thoughts, you are not your emotions, you are not your body, you are not your roles. You are the witness. You are the awareness. You are the consciousness that watches all of these things come and go. And this witness is the only wealth that matters. This witness is the only security that is real. This witness is the only home you will ever have. Death is here, right now. Death is not something far away. Death is not something that will happen someday in the distant future. Death is happening right now. This very moment, death is living inside you. Death is moving in your cells. Your body is dying right now. Every second, thousands of cells in your body are dying. Parts of you are constantly dying and being replaced. Your body is in a continuous state of death and renewal, death and rebirth. You are not the same body you were 10 years ago. Most of the cells that made up that body are dead now, gone, replaced by new cells. Death has been happening to you all along. Every moment, every day, every year. You just didn't notice because you were too distracted, too busy, too focused on other things. And one day, maybe tomorrow, maybe next year, maybe in 50 years, the renewal will stop. One day, the cells will die and not be replaced. One day, your organs will begin to fail. One day your heart will beat for the last time. One day your lungs will take their final breath. One day this body will stop functioning and you will be dead. This is absolutely, completely, 100% certain. You will die, not might die, not probably die, will die. It is the only thing about your future that is absolutely guaranteed. Everything else is uncertain. You might get married or you might not. You might have children or you might not. You might be successful or you might fail. You might be happy or you might be miserable. You might fulfill your dreams or you might not. You might be healthy or you might be sick. You might be rich or you might be poor. But you will die. This is certain. This is guaranteed. This is unavoidable. This is inevitable. So why not use death as a teacher? Why not use death as a mirror? Why not use death as a reminder not to become afraid, not to become depressed, not to become morbid, but to become clear, to become awake, to become present. Death is like a sharp knife. It cuts away all nonsense. It cuts away all pretense. It cuts away all the trivial concerns that occupy your mind. When you remember death, really remember it, not intellectually but viscerally, in your gut, in your bones. You stop lying to yourself. You stop indulging in petty dramas. You stop wasting energy on things that don't matter. You stop trying to impress people who don't care. You stop chasing goals that mean nothing. You become simple. You become direct. You become real. The ancient mystics understood this. They meditated on death every single day, not to become gloomy, not to become fearful, not to become obsessed with darkness, but to stay awake, to stay present, to stay aware, to remember that life is short, that time is limited, that every moment is precious, that this breath might be your last breath. In Tibet, monks kept human skulls on their meditation altars. Every morning before they sat to meditate, they would hold that skull in their hands and contemplate. This was once a living human being. This person had a face. This person had eyes. This person had a smile. This person had thoughts, feelings, dreams, hopes, fears, desires. This person had plans for the future. This person thought they had time. This person was probably making preparations for tomorrow when death came. And now all that remains is bone. Everything else, the personality, the memories, the relationships, the achievements, the possessions, the identity, all gone, vanished, disappeared. Only this skull remains, silent, empty, dead. This contemplation was not meant to depress them. This contemplation was meant to wake them up, to remind them, to keep them from falling asleep, to keep them from wasting their lives on trivialities, to keep them focused on what really matters. And what really matters, being present, being aware, being conscious, being alive while you are alive. Not later, not someday, not when things are perfect. Now, when you truly understand that you could die today, you stop wasting today. When you truly feel the presence of death, the nearness of death, the certainty of death, you stop postponing life. When you truly know in your bones that this could be your last moment, you make sure this moment counts. But you don't feel this. You don't understand this. You live as if you are immortal, as if you have forever, as if death is something that happens to other people but will never happen to you. And this is why you waste your time. This is why you waste your life. This is why you are not present. This is why you are not aware. This is why you are not alive. Because you think you have more time. Because you think you can always do it later. Because you think death is far away. But death is not far away. Death is here. Death is now. Death is always now. And when death finally comes, not in some distant future, but now, this moment, this breath, what will you have to show for your life? Will you have lived? Or will you have only existed? Will you have been present? Or will you have been lost in thought? Will you have loved deeply? Or will you have played it safe? Will you have been yourself? Or will you have been what others expected? Will you have tasted life? Or will you have merely survived? These are the questions that matter. These are the only questions that matter. Everything else is just distraction. Everything else is just noise. Everything else is just postponement. Look at what happens to people when they receive a terminal diagnosis. The doctor looks at them with serious eyes and says, "You have cancer. It has spread. There is nothing more we can do. You have 6 months to live, maybe less." And suddenly everything changes. Suddenly all the nonsense falls away. Suddenly the things they worried about seem trivial. Suddenly the things they postponed seem urgent. Suddenly they realize they have been wasting their lives. They stop caring about what people think. They stop arguing about trivial matters. They stop holding grudges. They stop playing games. They stop performing. They stop pretending. They start living. Finally, at the end, when it is almost too late, they start telling people they love them. They start doing the things they always wanted to do but never did. They start being themselves. They start being authentic. They start being real. Why? What changed? They are the same person they were before the diagnosis. The world is the same world. Nothing external has changed. What changed? They remembered death. The doctor gave them a deadline, and that deadline created urgency. That urgency shattered their postponement. That urgency woke them up from the trance of "I have plenty of time." They realized, "I don't have plenty of time. I have very little time. This day might be my last day. This conversation might be my last conversation. This moment with my loved ones might be my last moment with them. This breath might be my last breath." And that realization transformed everything. Not because anything external changed, but because their relationship to time changed. They stopped taking time for granted. They stopped assuming they would always have more. They started treating each moment as precious, as valuable, as potentially their last. But why wait for a terminal diagnosis? Why wait for death to become imminent and obvious before you finally start living? Why wait until you have 6 months left before you do the things you should have been doing all along? Death is always imminent. You just don't see it. You just don't feel it. You just don't acknowledge it. But it is there. Always waiting, coming closer, every second, every breath, every heartbeat. Your death is guaranteed. Only the timing is uncertain. So create your own urgency. Don't wait for a doctor to give you a deadline. Give yourself a deadline. Remind yourself every single day, I am going to die. I don't know when. Could be 50 years from now. Could be today, but it will happen. My time is limited. This day might be my last day. This moment might be my last moment. And when you truly feel this, not just think about it intellectually, but feel it deeply, viscerally, in your bones, in your heart, your entire life will transform. Not gradually, not over time, but immediately. Right now, you will stop wasting time on meaningless activities. You will stop scrolling mindlessly for hours. You will stop watching shows you don't even enjoy. You will stop having conversations that mean nothing. You will stop doing things out of habit, out of obligation, out of fear of what others will think. You will start living, truly living. You will be present. You will be conscious. You will be aware. You will treasure each moment because you know moments are limited. You will love deeply because you know time with loved ones is limited. You will express yourself authentically because you know the opportunity to be yourself is limited. You will create. You will dance. You will sing. You will play. You will explore. You will risk, you will fail, you will try again because you know that this is what it means to be alive. Your whole life changes the moment you take your attention back from the mind's endless commentary and bring it to the simple reality of being here. Right now, your attention is scattered, a little bit here, a little bit there, half in the past, half in the future, and almost never in the present. Your body may be sitting in a chair, but your mind is traveling all over the place like a wild horse. This is why you feel tired, not because you are doing too much, but because you are divided. A divided man is always exhausted. He is using enormous energy to maintain this division, to keep all these fragments somewhat together, to manage this inner chaos. To be whole, you must come back. You must return. You must bring your attention back from wherever it has wandered and anchor it here, in this moment, in this breath, in this body, in this reality. And you may ask, how? How do I do this? How do I become present? Do not make it complicated. The mind loves complexity because complexity gives you the feeling of progress without the reality of change. Complexity keeps you in your head. Complexity keeps you thinking instead of being. Complexity is another form of postponement. Make it simple, extremely simple. When you drink water, drink water. That's all. Just drink, feel the water, taste it. Feel it moving down your throat. Feel your body receiving it. Do not drink while thinking about tomorrow. Do not drink while looking at a screen. Do not drink while having a conversation. Just drink. When you walk, walk. Feel your feet touching the ground. Feel your body moving through space. Hear the sounds around you. See the colors. Smell the air. Be here. Do not walk while thinking about where you are going. Do not walk while planning your day. Do not walk while replaying yesterday's argument. Just walk. When you breathe, breathe. Feel the breath entering your body. Feel it filling your lungs. Feel it leaving. Feel the pause between breaths. Be with the breath. Do not breathe while thinking about your problems. Do not breathe mechanically, unconsciously, automatically. Breathe with awareness. Breathe with presence. And you will discover something that will shock you. You have not been breathing consciously for years, maybe for decades, maybe for your entire life. Breath has been happening, yes. Your body has been breathing automatically, but you have not been present with it. You have not been aware of it. You have not been experiencing it. Breath is the bridge between time and eternity. The mind lives in time. The mind lives in past and future. The mind is always somewhere else. But breath is always here. Breath is always now. Breath connects you to this moment, to this reality, to this life. When you are angry, what happens to your breath? It becomes shallow. It becomes rapid. It becomes chaotic. When you are afraid, what happens to your breath? It becomes tight. It becomes constricted. It becomes frozen. When you are peaceful, what happens to your breath? It becomes deep. It becomes slow. It becomes rhythmic. Breath reflects your inner state, but it also influences your inner state. If you become aware of your breath, if you watch it, if you allow it to become natural and deep, your inner state begins to change. Anger cannot survive in deep, conscious breathing. Fear cannot survive in deep, conscious breathing. Anxiety cannot survive in deep, conscious breathing. So if you want to wake up, if you want to become present, if you want to stop wasting your life, begin with breath, not as a technique, not as a method, not as something you do for 15 minutes and then forget about, but as a love affair, as a continuous relationship, as a way of being. Sit for just 5 minutes each day and do nothing else except watch your breath. No goal, no achievement, no trying to become calm, no trying to stop thoughts. Just watch the breath like you would watch a bird flying, like you would watch a flower opening, like you would watch a child sleeping, with tenderness, with patience, with love, with wonder. In the beginning you will feel stupid. The mind will say, this is pointless, this is boring, this is a waste of time. You should be doing something useful. You should be productive. You should be achieving something. Let it speak. Let it complain. Let it criticize. You simply watch. Watch the breath. Watch the thoughts. Watch the mind saying, this is pointless. Watch the impatience. Watch the restlessness. Watch the urge to get up and do something else. Just watch. And something begins to change. Slowly, gradually, almost imperceptibly at first. You start to see that you are not the thoughts. Thoughts come and go. They arise and they disappear. They appear like clouds in the sky and then they vanish. But you remain. You are not the cloud. You are the sky. You start to feel a space behind all the noise, a space that is quiet, a space that is still, a space that is always here, always present, always peaceful, regardless of what is happening on the surface. That space is your real home. That space is who you really are, not the thoughts, not the emotions, not the body, not the mind, but that which watches all of these things, that which is aware of all of these things, that which remains when everything else comes and goes. And once you taste this space, even for a moment, even for a single breath, you will understand that you have been wasting your entire life living on the surface, chasing shadows, believing illusions, identifying with temporary phenomena, while your real nature, your real home, your real treasure was always here, always available, always waiting for you to turn inward and discover it. One more way you waste time that must be exposed: through guilt and shame. Guilt is a chain that keeps you bound to the past. Shame is a prison that keeps you locked in darkness. They steal your energy. They steal your joy. They steal your life. You made a mistake 5 years ago and you are still punishing yourself for it. You said something stupid 10 years ago and you still cringe when you remember it. You hurt someone 20 years ago and you still carry the weight of it. And what does this accomplish? Does it change the past? Does it undo what was done? Does it heal anything? No. It only keeps you stuck. It only keeps you suffering. It only keeps you living in yesterday instead of today. The past is gone. It is dead. It is finished. It exists nowhere except in your memory. And your memory is not reality. Your memory is a story you tell yourself. A story you can change. A story you can release. A story you can let go of. You may have made mistakes. Yes, everyone has. Every human being who has ever lived has made mistakes, has said things they regret, has done things they wish they could undo. This is part of being human. This is part of learning. This is part of growing. But the question is not whether you made mistakes. The question is whether you will learn from them, whether you will grow from them, whether you will become more conscious because of them, or whether you will just keep punishing yourself endlessly, uselessly, pointlessly. The mind uses guilt as a way to avoid real change. It says, I am bad, I am terrible, I am unforgivable. And then it sits in that identity. It wallows in that suffering. It enjoys the drama of guilt more than it wants the simplicity of transformation. Because transformation requires something real. Transformation requires awareness. Transformation requires change. Transformation requires growth. But guilt requires nothing. Guilt is passive. Guilt is comfortable in its misery. Guilt is familiar. So drop it. Not by saying, what I did was okay. Not by justifying it. Not by denying it. but by understanding that holding on to guilt does not serve anyone. Not you, not the person you hurt, not the world. What serves is awareness. What serves is learning. What serves is growing. What serves is making sure you don't repeat the same mistake. What serves is becoming more conscious so that your actions come from awareness instead of unconsciousness. Your past is not your destiny. Your past is a memory. Your past is a lesson. But it is not who you are now. You are being created fresh in this moment. And what creates you is not what you did yesterday. What creates you is the quality of your awareness right now. So forgive yourself. Not because what you did was okay, but because carrying guilt is a waste of the time you have left. Forgive yourself because life is short and you cannot afford to spend it imprisoned in the past. Forgive yourself because you have work to do, the work of waking up, of becoming conscious, of living fully in this moment. Another thief of time that poisons millions, living according to other people's expectations. You were not born with your own mind. You were given a mind. That mind was installed, programmed, conditioned by your parents, your teachers, your priests, your society, your culture. And that borrowed mind runs your life. It tells you what to want. It tells you what to value. It tells you what is important. It tells you how to behave. It tells you who to be, and you follow. Like a puppet, like a slave, like a machine. You choose a career not because you love it, but because your parents approve of it. You get married not because you want to, but because society expects it. You have children not out of genuine desire, but because that's what people do. You buy a house, you buy a car, you buy the right clothes, you live in the right neighborhood, all because someone else told you this is what success looks like. But it is not your success. It is their idea of success. It is not your life. It is their script that you are performing. And every day you play this role. Every day you follow this script. You move further away from who you really are. You betray yourself. You abandon yourself. You lose yourself. And then you wonder why you feel empty. Why you feel lost. Why you feel like something essential is missing. Of course something is missing. You are missing. Your real self is missing. Your authentic being is missing. Because you have spent your entire life trying to become someone else's idea of who you should be. And the tragedy is that even the people you are trying to please, even they are not satisfied. You can never satisfy them. You can never be good enough. You can never be perfect enough. There is always something more they want from you. Always some way you are disappointing them. Always some expectation you are failing to meet. Because their expectations are not about you. Their expectations are about them, about their fears, about their insecurities, about their unlived lives that they are trying to live through you. They want you to be what they could not be. They want you to achieve what they did not achieve. They want you to fulfill their dreams because they were too afraid to fulfill their own. So you sacrifice your life trying to please people who will never be pleased. You sacrifice your truth trying to gain approval that will never truly satisfy. You sacrifice your soul trying to fit into a mold that was never meant for you. And time keeps passing, your life keeps disappearing, and you are not living your own life. You are living someone else's fantasy of what your life should be. The first act of rebellion, the first act of real courage is to stop living for approval, to stop performing for an audience that doesn't really see you, to stop betraying yourself to please people who don't even know who you really are. This doesn't mean you become selfish. This doesn't mean you become cruel. This doesn't mean you abandon your responsibilities. It means you stop sacrificing your essential being for external validation. It means you start living from your own truth instead of from borrowed values. It means you start making choices based on what is real for you, not on what will make you look good. Truth is more important than being liked. Authenticity is more important than approval. Being yourself is more important than being accepted. And here is the paradox. When you stop trying to please everyone, when you stop performing, when you drop the mask and become real, some people will reject you. Yes, some people will disapprove. Some people will be disappointed. Some people will walk away. Let them go. Those who leave were never really with you anyway. They were with your mask. They were with your performance. They were with their projection of who they wanted you to be. They were never with the real you. But others, the real ones, the authentic ones, the conscious ones, they will see you. They will recognize you. They will love you. Not for who you are pretending to be, but for who you actually are. And this is the only love worth having, the only relationship worth keeping, the only connection worth maintaining. So be yourself. Even if it costs you everything, even if it means standing alone, even if it means disappointing people you care about, be yourself. Because the alternative, spending your entire life being someone else, is not worth it. It is a wasted life. It is a life unlived. Even spiritual seekers fall into a subtle trap. They waste time trying to become spiritual. They read countless books. They attend workshop after workshop. They collect teachings like someone collects stamps. They can quote scriptures. They can speak fluent spiritual language. They talk about energy, about vibrations, about consciousness, about chakras, about enlightenment. And inside, nothing has changed. They are still angry, still jealous, still afraid, still suffering. They have just learned to describe their suffering in spiritual terms. They have just learned to dress their ego in spiritual clothes. This is the ego playing its most refined game. The ego loves spirituality because spirituality offers the most sophisticated way to feel superior. The spiritual ego is the worst kind of ego because it is so well disguised. It can appear humble while being arrogant. It can appear selfless while being deeply selfish. It can speak about consciousness while being completely unconscious. So don't turn awakening into a new identity. Don't make it another costume. Don't make it another performance. Don't use spirituality as a way to feel better than others, more evolved than others, more enlightened than others. Real spirituality is not about becoming something. Real spirituality is about seeing through everything you think you are. It is about stripping away all the false layers, all the masks, all the performances, all the identities, until nothing remains except pure awareness, pure presence, pure being. And this is not comfortable. This is not safe. This is not something the ego wants. The ego wants to keep spirituality manageable. The ego wants to keep it as another achievement, another trophy, another way to feel special. But real transformation is a fire. It burns. It destroys. It leaves nothing standing, and most people are not ready for this fire. They want the idea of transformation. They want to talk about it. They want to read about it. But they don't want to actually go through it. So they postpone. They say, I will meditate when I have time. I will change when I am ready. I will let go when things are more settled. I will transform after I finish this project, after I retire, after the children are grown, after I have more money, after I feel more secure. This is the ego protecting itself with spiritual language. This is postponement dressed in robes. Remember, awareness is not in the future. Awareness is not something you achieve. Awareness is not something you become. Awareness is what you are right now. You don't need to wait for it. You don't need to prepare for it. You don't need to earn it. You just need to recognize it. And recognition happens now, not tomorrow, not next year, now, this breath, this moment. So take one conscious breath right now. Feel it fully. Be with it completely. And in that breath, you are already home. You are already aware. You are already free. You don't need more time. You don't need more preparation. You don't need more knowledge. You just need to stop postponing and start being present. There is something in you that can watch all of this. Something that is not in a hurry. Something that is not anxious. Something that is not calculating. Something that is not thinking. Something that is simply here. Simply aware. Simply present. When you touch that witness, when you rest in that awareness, you begin to taste something timeless. Not as a concept, not as philosophy, but as direct experience. You sit, you breathe, you watch, and for a moment the mind becomes quiet, and you sense a presence behind everything, a stillness beneath all movement, an awareness that was here when you were a child, that is here now, that will be here when your body dies. This is your true nature. This is who you really are. Not the thoughts, not the emotions, not the body, not the roles, not the achievements, not the identities, but this witnessing presence, this awareness, this consciousness. And when you live from this witness, you don't waste time because you are not absent. You may still work. You may still plan. You may still think about the future when necessary, but you are not lost in it. You are not hypnotized by it. You are rooted in presence while functioning in time. This is the secret of a life well lived. This is the art of using time without being used by time. This is how you stop wasting your life. So return to this witness again and again, not as effort, not as discipline, as remembrance, as recognition, as coming home. If you forget, you return. If you drift away, you come back. If you fall asleep, you wake again. This is the whole practice. This is the entire path. Just returning, just coming back, just being here. And the beauty is that this is available right now, not after years of practice, not after reading more books, not after attending more workshops, not after achieving anything or becoming anyone. This breathing is enough. This awareness is already here. You are already home. You just forgot. You just got lost in thoughts. You just wandered away into imagination. But you can return right now, this moment. Take one breath with complete awareness. Feel it entering, feel it leaving. And in that breath, you are awake, you are present, you are alive. This is not postponement. This is not preparation. This is it. This is life. This is what you have been searching for everywhere else. It was always here, waiting for you to simply be still, to simply watch, to simply be. Your time is running out. This is true. Your body is aging. This is true. Death will come. This is true. But there is something that does not run out, something that does not age, something that does not die. And when you discover this something, when you rest in this something, time becomes irrelevant. Not because time stops, but because you stop being a slave to time. You stop being anxious about time. You stop wasting time worrying about time. You simply live fully, completely, timelessly, in the eternal now. So don't wait another moment. Don't postpone another day. Don't waste another hour. Live now, completely, before it is too late.